Hey guys, welcome to Dream Coin, where we show you how to invest for a better tomorrow. My name's Tyler, and today we're going to be going over the Virgin Galactic space launch that happened, where I think their stock's going into the future based on fundamentals, and how I see the price action playing out on Monday. So to give you a quick rundown of what Virgin Galactic is trying to do, they are looking to expand into space travel as a commercial way of allowing common people that are generally not trained to be astronauts to fly into space and experience what it is like to go above Earth's atmosphere. This is something to this point that has been unobtainable both through technological advances and through monetary reasons, just because it's very expensive to provide for space travel, and a lot of people frankly just don't have the money to supply for things like that. The price of a ticket to go on one of these trips is estimated to be about $250,000 for a 90-minute flight, which is where they're basically targeting more of the upper class of people that can afford these kind of things. And Richard Branson has said that it is their hope to possibly get the price down to $40,000 over the next decade, which would still be fairly steep for a lot of the general population. The main thing that you want to keep in mind when you're viewing Virgin Galactic as a company and looking to invest in their stock SPCE is that they actually haven't been profitable since they've been publicly traded. And since 2017, they've lost almost $1 billion in cash flow, just because obviously they don't have revenue with all this research and development they're doing to try to plan for the future of where they start getting people into space. They're expecting about $120 million in future revenue from customers. The company currently has $616 million in cash, which is 5 times its current liabilities. But obviously, if we look at the figure where they've lost almost $1 billion since 2017 and going public, this could obviously become an issue where they need to get people on aircraft pretty quickly in order for them to be able to start making up revenues in those different margins. Their space flight revolves around doing a main mothership, which is kind of like a dual plane almost that you would harness in the main spacecraft into. And once you get a certain distance above Earth, they would basically detach from each other and you would be in the main spacecraft just kind of above the atmosphere before returning. This is in contrast to a lot of space travel currently being more rocket-based, which would also fall in line with Blue Origin or Jeff Bezos' company, where they are rocket launched from Earth. The important thing to keep in mind with Virgin Galactic is they've had contracts with very big entities like NASA and other governments like Italy and New Mexico. This possibly gives them a little more backing, considering they had their deep support from these in the past as different ways of managing their technology and providing for different ways for people to explore space travel going into the future. One of the main controversies going into the space launch this weekend is the fact that there's been arguments over whether the distance that Virgin Galactic goes is actually in space or not, where they fly about 80 kilometers above Earth as compared to Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin flying about 100 kilometers above Earth. One of the main buzzwords you'll hear when talking about space travel for commercial settings might be the Kármán line, and this has been a big point of dispute between Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic, where the Kármán line is expected to have the outer bounds of the Earth's atmosphere, and once you pass that line, you're actually in space. A lot of satellites and everything sit above that line, and what the argument is that Virgin Galactic still technically falls beneath that Kármán line, whereas Blue Origins would go past that Kármán line. So depending on who you're actually targeting and who actually cares about this kind of logistics, that might play into the factor of which service you might want to use. But as of now, it would seem that Virgin Galactic is potentially short selling people with this information, depending on how you want to spin that information. Virgin Galactic actually had a successful launch today where they actually got out into space and were able to return successfully with Richard Branson and 3 fellow crewmates of his. And so this sets off a series of a timeline where they start moving more into that commercial setting, I would believe, and look to expand into getting regular space travel for people going into the next couple years. Now, as we look at the stock, I've got the chart pulled up since around around January. And you can see their price has been pretty low before. They've been down to $13.87 on a low in this period of time. And as of Friday close, they were sitting around $49.29. Their high for this period of time has been $62.90. And this space launch has been anticipated all week. You can see where they started running from $40. They hit a peak over $60 in just a couple days. And now they're settling back between that $40 and $50 area. Looking towards Monday, July 12th, we could be seeing a couple different scenarios. One of them being a return to that 60 plus area. I think a lot of people could be renewed hype in this. I know a lot of people sold off into the weekend because there was hesitance on whether the aircraft and ride would actually work. A lot of those people could be buying in come Monday from the success of that. And so this could help boost the price back to that $60 area just off that anticipation. I think pre-market is going to be something significant to look at when looking at the stock, because I think it'll boost it pretty well going into the morning. And then we'll see where the price carries into going into that area. Now, one of the main downsides that I see is going to be a key area of $40. And that's where they gapped up hard on June 25th, going up into the 60s. I could see a potential for them to pull back all the way down under there. And if they drop below 40, I'd be looking more towards that $35 area where they might be resting going into the future. This is a company that you could possibly invest in long-term if you believe in what they're doing. But as of now, it is obviously going to be a risk until they actually start getting some revenue in from their different stuff that they're looking to do with actually getting people out. And depending on how the Blue Origin flight happens on July 20th, that could be indicative of where the direction of this company goes into the future. Another thing to look at if you are deciding between Virgin Galactic or something else is that with the successful launch, this could also be boosting some other space stocks. So if you've got any space stocks that are more directly related to satellites and everything and aren't huge competitors for Virgin Galactic, those might rise tomorrow going off of sympathy of this. That's where I'm going to be looking at for price action on the market going into Monday, especially with Virgin Galactic. We're going to be looking for that range of 40 to 60 and see where they fall in that. If they break 60, I see them going up a little higher. If they break 40, I do see them going lower. I think companies like this are going to be a great investment long term going into the future. I don't think Virgin Galactic is going to have too many issues getting people willing to go into space on their spacecraft going into the next couple of years. It's just a matter of when they actually get all of that out. And then obviously with everything going on, looking back at May where they were down to $13 at one point, there is a risk of huge downside right now just due to the fact that there might be a potential significant longer amount of time before we get more PR from them. And so this could leave a gap of a month or two minimum where they start declining just from, the hype dying off and all that. So that might give you a better buy-in price if you watch this over the long period of time going into the end of the year. I did put out an update video of what I expect to happen for MRIN going into Monday and why that's so significant. So if that interests you and you are into short squeeze plays, that is something to keep in mind going into Monday with that. And other than that, that's going to do it for me in this video today, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.